Riots, protests and looting have broken out in Minnesota as Black Lives Matter supporters congregate together in support of Daunte Wright, who was killed by a police officer on Sunday. On Tuesday, police had made more than 60 arrests as protesters took to the street to beg for justice. BLM protesters have been calling for defunding the police since last May when George Floyd was killed in police custody, and this time the protesters have been out since Sunday.
Newly released body camera footage of this police shooting shows Daniel Shaver's last moments.
Hands up in the air! You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand? Please do not shoot me.
Begging for his life.
Then listen to my instructions. I'm trying to do what you don't talk, listen! Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're gonna fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Crawl towards me. Crawl towards me! Yes, sir. Don't go!
Officer Philip Mitchell Brailsford fires 5 rounds, killing Shaver.
Those protests against Wall Street continue to grow across the country today. Here in New York, thousands of demonstrators descended on the financial district as big labor unions joined in. And many people down there asking the question, what are the people who helped create the jobs crisis doing to help the people out of work?
It is a crowd that grows daily in size and diversity. Today, thousands of union workers marched in solidarity and joining a common cause, blaming bank greed for the country's economic woes. This afternoon, thousands marched from Manhattan's Foley Park into the heart of Wall Street.
America is fed up with just being forced into poverty.
The New York City Police Department blocks Wall Street, and the protesters move to Zuccotti Park, where a culture of consensus takes root.
And with cases, the suspect in a fatal stabbing of 3 girls in Southport just over a week ago was a Muslim asylum seeker.
We are here today because Canada is broken. Our kindness and generosity has given way to naivety and weakness. We did not want to be taken advantage of, tricked, lied to, and sold out by those we trusted to lead us.
In the face of rising poverty, a housing crisis, and an influx of more than 1 million people last year alone, anti-immigrant sentiment is now growing, with 60% of Canadians now saying it's too high.
The country does not need another million Uber drivers and Tim Hortons workers.
Why are we bringing in so many people if we know for a fact that we don't have housing for them?
This month I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
Former LA County Sheriff's deputy has been charged with the fatal on-duty shooting of unarmed 24-year-old Ryan Twyman. Twyman, who was under investigation, was sitting in a car in Willowbrook in June of 2019 when officers walked up, opened up the back door, The LA County DA's office says 37-year-old Andrew Lyons is set to be arraigned on one felony count of voluntary manslaughter and two counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Lyons is accused of getting his rifle and shooting into the car after it stopped.
All right, another brazen theft at a San Francisco drugstore caught on video. It comes after the governor and local officials pledged to crack down on crime that has forced so many stores to close down. Our crime reporter Henry Lee joins us now live. He's at SFPD headquarters with the latest. Henry.
Yeah, it's been happening over and over, Julie. Thieves thinking they can steal things with impunity, thinking they will never get caught. That's an issue that brought a candidate for governor to San Francisco today. It's happened again. 4 women run off after stealing from a CVS. Organized retail theft has become such a hot-button issue that it's now a point of focus in the upcoming gubernatorial recall.
Target announced this week that it's planning to close several stores, citing retail theft and organized retail crime as major problems. Others point to a disturbing number of smash-and-grab robberies, including looting in Philadelphia earlier this week. The National Retail Federation said its latest survey of members found that inventory loss cost retailers about $112 billion.
It's just happening too often, and it's just terribly, terribly upsetting. You know, my children are like, you have to move out of the city, and this is where I live, though.
Those robberies started Tuesday after an earlier protest when charges were dropped against an officer who shot and killed a man during a traffic stop.
This column of humanity heading north from the countries of Central and South America and well beyond too. North to the United States. The number of people crossing illegally into America this past year has been staggering. 10,000 a day last week, and nearly 250,000 encountered by the US border officials in November. It has been a record-breaking year, and objectively, it seems clear that the US government has lost any sense of control.
Really quiet neighborhoods, very peaceful.
She's one of many surprised after the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office arrested these 3 men. Spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office says all 3 are undocumented immigrants from Guatemala. They face various
Their lives packed on top of a moving freight train known as the Beast. Migrants seeking a new beginning over the Mexican border. These mostly from Venezuela, men, women and children, families clambering aboard where they can outside the Mexican town of Arapuato. They're part of a new wave of thousands amid a surge in illegal migration to the US.
Tonight we take a ground-level look at the effects of crime committed by illegal immigrants, many of whom have been deported multiple times.
And this happened at the Paso del Norte Bridge in El Paso, Texas. Now, this connects El Paso to Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, and CBP says that they deployed physical barriers to stop this attempted mass entry into the United States.
A shopper cannot believe what she sees when she enters her local supermarket to buy groceries for her family.
This is sad. This is sad.
For 15 hours straight, looters have laid waste to the store. Some of them are still inside.
This is the problem.
This surveillance video shows the first moments of the break-in. And this
in Beverly Hills, a 1 p.m. curfew went into effect today, all part of an effort to prevent some of the looting and violence that happened in locations around Los Angeles, particularly in areas that have come to symbolize the difference between the haves and the have-nots. Jim Murray has the latest.
Looting now underway in Beverly Hills.
Mayhem in Beverly Hills as looters storm the luxury clothing store Alexander McQueen and make off with thousands of dollars worth of goods. In upscale Santa Monica, devastating destruction as looters attack business after business.
Hey guys, you see this?
Extraordinary footage shows a woman using her body to try to stop looters, one armed with a hammer, from smashing their way into a sporting goods store. She's violently pulled away in this dramatic footage shot by Fox 11 in Los Angeles. Despite her efforts, looters make off with bicycles and backpacks. At Patagonia, they flee with surfboards. These looters make their getaway on a motorcycle. Bedlam at this van store. Looters pile out with shoeboxes. Watch this dude slip and fall. This guy grabs a shoebox, then tells a KCBS reporter why he's doing it.
People need to start chaos in order to make their point across.
Aerial shots show looters pouring out of Santa Monica Place Mall. One street over, I spotted people casually strolling with allegedly stolen goods. This guy proudly showed off his box to me. And this disturbing footage shows a man using an aerosol can to torch a San Bernardino DMV. Today, I'm getting an up-close look inside a CVS that's utterly trashed.
The alarm at this drugstore is still going off hours after the destruction. And as you look around, you can see this wasn't just looted. It was ransacked, items thrown from the shelves and destroyed.
Apparently, just even a week is just not long enough. A whole month about celebrating every sexual preference except being straight. Except it doesn't actually seem to be so much about tolerance for a number of the people doing the marching and the floats and all this. Certainly the case when you look at some of the floats on the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras, particularly now at the parades in places like Los Angeles and Washington. It strikes me this is more about, not so much about making children accept transsexuals and gays and drag queens and so on, which would be good, you know, being tolerant. This is also about accepting the most demeaning sexual behaviours, whippings and all that kind of stuff, a perversion really of affection. And it's about flaunting an aggressive sexuality without any moderation or any consideration or any sense of time and place, dignity, no sense of propriety, or even a mutual love. I mean, this is promoting instead a really highly sexualized world, and say the same whether they were gay, bi, or straight, in which American schools and libraries even invite drag queens to educate children.
Trans model and activist Rose Montoya went topless at a White House Pride event just moments after shaking hands with President Biden.
I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. A Pride Day event at a local elementary school turns violent when parents clash.
Many started yelling and screaming at each other, some even throwing punches. Police were called in to separate the protesting parents from those who were there to support the event at Satakoy Elementary in North Hollywood. The assembly was supposed to highlight diversity and inclusion. Instead, it turned into a display of anger and animosity.
A tough lesson for children as we begin Pride Month.
Leave our kids alone.
There was shouting, shoving, and one person was even knocked to the ground outside Satakoy Elementary School in North Hollywood. The LAPD was there to try to keep the peace, while the dueling demonstrators clashed over opposing views about a pride assembly being held at the school.
My concern is doing away with whiteness. Whiteness is a form of racial oppression, sure. The suggestion is that it is somehow possible to separate whiteness from oppression, and it is not. There can be no white race without the phenomenon of white supremacy. If you abolish slavery, you abolish slaveholders. In the same way, if you abolish racial oppression, you do away with whiteness. Treason to whiteness is loyalty to humanity. The task is to bring this minority together in such a way that it makes it impossible for the legacy of whiteness to continue to reproduce itself.
Put him down on his back, open his airway.
He has a gun! He has a gun! In his hand, pointing at people! No, stop!
Drop it! Drop it! Go, go, go! Go, go!
I won't shake you, but I'll make you sway.